Hi students, welcome to week 7 of organizational behavior. We are coming into the home stretch, but do not coast now. Keep going. This week we are in chapter 7 studying our last internal influence, conflict management. This week we have a number of learning objectives. We're going to understand the conflict management process for small group interaction using the Tubbs model. We're going to look at the different types of conflict management. And I want you to dig into game theory and negotiation tactics. I think it's quite interesting and very useful in your careers. You know, over the last few weeks, we've been learning about the components influencing the internal thinking of small groups, according again to the Tubbs model. And this week, we're going to add that final component of conflict. So we've looked at physical environment, group size, structure, group type, communication, language, behavior, self-disclosure, interaction roles, decision-making, status and power, leadership style, group norms, decision-making, and now conflict management as well. According to the research, conflict is driven by multiple sources. There's beliefs, values, scarcity of resources like money, time, space, etc. And good old time or good old competition between groups also drives conflict. So the research in the text also indicates that moderate amounts of conflict, believe it or not, over things like task completion or, is what the text calls conflict of ideas, can improve a group's performance. But conflict among personality types, it's called conflict of feelings, that's not so good, and it degrades a group's performance. You can read more about this on page 326 in the text. Also check out figure 7.1 about keeping your conflict focused on the ideas and not the person. Research also suggests that when resolving conflict, don't take anything personally, don't insult another person's intelligence, and know that everything is negotiable. I'd also add that there have been times in my career that my intelligence was stepped on by someone else. It hurt and was difficult for me to overcome the feelings of anger and resentment. Like how dare they say that about me? Admittedly, and I've probably done the same thing to somebody else as well on occasion, so I admit that too. And the times when I've done that and I knew about it, I actually went back and apologized to people. While we are negotiating a conflict, we should not feel pressured to change our values just to keep the peace. All right. However, we should always stay centered on the suggestion being discussed and not the person who made the suggestion. You need to remember, just like I have to remind myself, that God loves him or her as much as he loves me. Okay, read about game theory as well. The theory is built around the notion that we're all caught in this interesting dilemma of competing with others, but also cooperating with others while negotiating. Like we have that thing inside that wants to compete, and we have that thing inside of us that wants to cooperate at the same time. The theory introduces the concept of mixed motives. As an individual, we all want to win or preserve, but we also want our team to win, which may come at the cost of personal sacrifice. So make sure you read and study the conflict grid as well in figure 7.2. The grid was developed by researchers who promoted the idea that win-win is possible in many scenarios. Be sure to study up on the 9 common 9 preference offered in the grid, which is really that win-win scenario that they talk about. Finally, virtual groups are becoming more and more popular in organizations. Communication styles and lack of personal communication doesn't always build solid relationships that can negotiate conflict. And those are difficult to do sometimes in a virtual group, the communication style, that lack of face-to-face, even if it is virtual. All right. Trust needs to be established between people who are in a virtual group. Don't underestimate the factor of trust that you need to have with people. All right, be sure to read the articles at the end of the chapter. Some of them will be on the quiz, hint, hint. Make sure you read through all of chapter 7 and finish strong in this course. And remember, no coasting to the finish line. I will not yet let you do that. All right, remember, God is on his throne. He's always been there, and he's always going to be. Have a great day.